Thanks for staying with us. So the leader of the British Conservative Party, Mrs. Kemi Badenoch, has again come under criticism. I'm trying to speak British English. I can't get it right. Again, has come under criticism after she admitted that attending a federal government girls' college, Sagamu, Ogun State, was a prison experience for her. She also described her maltreatment and forced labor when she shared her experience of being given a machete, to cut grass and buckets to fetch water in secondary school in Nigeria. Well, she described it as prison. Now, what are your thoughts on the fact we want to hear Nigerians calling not to bash Kemi, because I know you want to bash, but share with us your own experience, because did she lie? Or is she just is she just sharing her experience and embellishing it a bit to sound very, very accepting? I don't know. I can't relate, because I went to Corona boarding school. I didn't carry machete. However, we all have different experiences. You can join the conversation 021-6352-013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us your tweets on X and also on YouTube. We're happy to read your thoughts. Who would like to jump in?
Think I jump.
Okay.
Because I went to a federal government school.
Oh, is your now them?
Now we and you go boarding.
Yes, now.
Did you do federal government?
First,
yes.
Did
you federal government?
But yes, I did.
Communities.
You want me? So I start.
Let me just finish.
Oh yeah.
So we we went to command those days. Our motto for our school is knowledge and discipline. So the discipline was properly highlighted. And that one we first to experience. I did not even resume the first day of school. I had a 3-stroke of cane on my head. So Kemi not lie. If you asked me at the time, I would not tell you anything good about the school. It is with time and healing that I'll be able to tell you that those things formed me. But the time I was living through it, I hated a lot of things about the school. I remember Officer Thank God. He was the one that flogged me in the middle of my head. And I remember boasting to all the friends that, I'm a daddy's girl. My daddy will remove me from this school tomorrow. If I tell him they beat me, I lie. I write why they still beat me on my last day of exam. So it is a lot of people's experiences in the various schools that they went to and the standards of the school at the time. But that they pick Kemi to punish is a lie. But you know what pains me is that I have read of British boarding schools with worse narratives.
Not cutlass, so they don't do cutlass.
They know they do cutlass, they are worse.
Which how it was. So
they are the worst narratives. A lot of people who have read English books and stories about the real British schools. And you know the worst thing? We are a colonized nation. And the people that she's now aligning with colonized and taught our schools this system. They made vernacular our own dialects in our schools. Punished Nigerian students for speaking their languages, which was their mother tongue in the schools, compelling change of religion, names. If you go to Aochi, you hardly find an uncle of mine who went to the popular school, let me not call that school name, that did not have a Christian name, and they were mostly from Muslim homes. So a lot of things happened that the British should be responsible for. So there's nothing that she's saying. If she was saying it in another land, maybe in the China or South Korea, I would not have minded. But the people that are responsible for the system that she hates is the people that she's trying to. I don't understand.
Let me get used to it.
So for me, she's not lying. You understand? But my problem with her is there's always an intention behind what she's saying. She's always carrying that message of trying to make Nigeria look very, very bad. But those things, if we ask her closely, they must have trained her one way or the other. She must have learned a lesson from that one way or the other, and she must have, it made her what she is somehow today. So I'm going to, so the issue of saying that we went in with cutlass is very true. Yes, when I was in school, no, cutlass, I don't even want to even think. We cut grass tire, I'm telling you. And if you know the way, sometimes the way they give us those portions, they will just come. Sometimes they will say, okay, from this side to this side, they will use leg to measure sometimes they will pick the cutlass from here and then throw wherever the cutlass stops. You clear that whole place to that side. And the fact of that water that she was saying that we carry water, very true. Do you know when I entered secondary school as a junior student, you take care of yourself, you take care of your bunkmates. So you from just 1 to 3, you sleep at the top. Then the SS1 to 3 at the bottom bunk. So you are going to take care of anybody who we call it bunkie. So you are going to take care of the senior at the bottom. So what it means is that you're going to wash her clothes, you're going to fetch water, you're going to get everything, you know, all the things that will make her comfortable, you are the one going to do it. So you can imagine the distance. The distance from where we used to go and fetch water to the hostel is very far.
Imagine.
I'm telling you. So you know, you are supposed to go in, that's the kind of bucket. Tinker bucket, that's the metal bucket. The metal bucket on its own is about 5 kg. Then by the time you add water inside again, you can imagine how heavy it was. So we'll carry water, and then we'll carry jerry can for drinking, water for drinking. We'll also carry her own bucket and her own jerry can as well. So what we did was that, you know, you wash their clothes. So whenever we go to wash clothes, we wash our clothes, then we'll tie it on our uniform, put our clothes and our clothes, because we have to go and dry it in the hostel, and then we'll have to fetch water and take to the hostel. So you can imagine us carrying 2 buckets of water. What we'll do is we'll carry the 2 buckets of water, we'll go and drop in front, come back, come and carry the 2 jerry cans, go and drop. Then, you know, we turned our uniforms to like bag with the clothes inside, wet. Then we go, that's how we continue taking till we get to the hostel. And then we put it, you know, under our beds. So we took care. What she's saying is right. But for me, that thing, you know, I will look at it, you know, from...
So it's dehumanizing and it is man's inhumanity.
But it doesn't happen anymore.
Because the truth is that, yes, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't. It happened a long time ago.
She's sharing her truth, her own experience, because I don't understand.
Why is she always sharing the negative part? Why can't she say the good side, the good part?
Her truth. Morayo, a lot of people's truth. But Kemi didn't wait behind. I remember I was saying to Abigail this morning, the level of slaps I got in secondary school
for
having red lips alone.
Is it right?
Morayo, wait,
you shouldn't have gotten the slaps.
That's the point I'm trying to make is there's no way in this world that a school will allow my daughter to be slapped. It's because I lived it. We stayed back. We're changing things.
Yes.
I'm not sitting with anybody talking. I'm in the PTA meeting of the school. In my own daughter's school, this narrative you've given, we experienced it. Do you know in my daughter's school, it will assign a senior to the junior. That senior is to pamper that junior till she adjusts to secondary, to boarding away from home. The senior that I met, I was surprised by daughter's first time in boarding school. I came and I saw her sleeping, and some girls were watching. I was like, auntie, what happened? She said, no. They say, no, it's her welcoming year. For the first year, somebody is going to welcome her. Now, changed. She's welcoming somebody. In that same school that I went to, I was surprised. Before we left school, the seniors, the 1980 students, the 1980-something students, they came in and brought in tractors. They came to school, brought in tractors and said,
to cut the grass.
Yeah. So we stopped cutting grass by ourselves. If you see our field alone, it's a full standard football field with extra. They go say, make we go cut. Is it possible? Some people left school and thought these methods that the British call discipline should change in our schools. And so they came and changed it. Okay. It was our alumni group that brought in those tractors for school. They showed the school where to get it, and they put together money to rent those tractors. Every admin officer that came in, the new VP admin knew where to get the tractors, and they got it every quarter to clear the grass. So we left alone.
Because
I'm coming. No, not lawnmowers, as in tractor.
The grass is there.
We had lawns. So those are our lawns. The ones in the while when we are on holiday, we will see that they have lawnmower. But when we come back and we're in school session, the lawns were left for students who were rebellious students to punish. So they'll give you a portion, but it wasn't so hard again. And I went to school 93, 99. People came at that time to come and change things. I want to ask Kemi what has changed in federal government Sagamu that she facilitated.
Exactly. Why she contributed?
That's the point, because in my school those days, a senior student, you are in just an ordinary 1 year. Most likely your age mates that just got admission on time can actually tell you double and you'll be running for miles. I was rude to a senior in the library. I was talking with my friend and she said, this is not a place for talking. I was like, I rolled my eyes. I ended up in the classroom. While another teacher was teaching biology, I was on my knees, frog jumping, stooling. She did not cancel that class. All those things are not possible again in the command of today.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you change things.
Let's come to Abigail. Let me hear your thoughts. When you remove her glasses, she wants to take action.
I actually think truth is a bitter pill to swallow. It's very bitter, especially when you know that it falls on you and the blame is on you. We Nigerians, what we have learned to do is, when it affects us, directly, we want to fight. But when we are on the other side, we want to see reason. So this is just a case of Kemi has been doing it too much, and so this one she has said is like pouring more fuel to an already existing fire. But it doesn't mean that what she's saying is wrong at all. I was listening to Nima. You said everything has changed. It hasn't changed. If you want to know, go to public schools now and see what they do there. So what they do is they can have one class in 2 days or one class for a day. And then the rest they do is run errands for teachers, peel egusi, go and fetch water and all that.
Which town is the school there?
School. Exactly.
Do you want, let's not announce, let's just go into different schools.
Let Abigail finish her point.
Let's not announce that we are going to certain schools. Let's just even say, let's conduct this thing. So what I feel is we are very defensive people. We like to attack, but we don't like to look at reasons. And the truth for this person has constantly been demarketing Nigeria for the longest. What are we now doing to now show that, okay, what she's saying is not true? You're hearing her talk and you're seeing something different. But if you go now to different schools, it hasn't changed. You still see teachers and schools exploiting students for man labor, what they should be paying for. And they call it training. That's not training. If you say you have a farm, that you have people who are interested in agriculture and they are doing this, is understandable for knowledge sake. You're not saying because I came late to school, you're flogging me, you're giving me machetes to cut the grass when my mates are in the classroom learning. That is not it. And if you notice, some students don't even have the choice to say, I don't want to go again. Because maybe the means to them going to a better school is not there. Their parents are not so buoyant. And then when they are faced with that, you can't tell somebody how to deal with trauma. I'm sorry, with what Kemi has been doing, I don't like her. I don't say that, no, let me not use that on national TV. I really don't care what she's doing or what she's saying. But what I want to say is, for this particular case, I align with her. If only our education ministry, the sector, will not say, okay, this is a slap on our face. Let's even go and check the schools, what is happening there.
Just to highlight what you said, so if Kemi was talking to, maybe being interviewed by Nima, maybe it won't hurt Nigerians because now we were talking about, so now share experience, but because she's talking to a foreigner, suddenly it's like, you know, it cuts deep walls, and we're wondering, why would she be telling them that? As if it's not true. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll break. Thanks for staying with us. So as I said, I'm going to share my own story. Because I can't relate. I went to Corona primary and secondary school. In our school, we don't cut grass. So we have, in fact, when there's no water, they get a tanker to bring the tanker. And you just bring the bucket and the tanker, you fetch your water and you take it upstairs. Sometimes when they can't get a tanker, there's a well not too far off. You go there, you fetch your water, you take it upstairs. And there was never a seniority. In fact, Mrs. Olayemi totally banned that because we were the first set. So we're looking forward to being senior when the next set came. And we tried it. I know I tried it. The Kia set us correctly. We don't do that here. It's supposed to actually help them. And so we didn't. So everybody's experiences. So Kemi, maybe you just had a bad experience in Federal Government College. You know, we don't.
Let me disagree.
Just start to put that there. So going back to what Abigail was saying, Abigail, made a very important point.
Very important. I agree, but I would disagree. I would disagree in the sense that even back then in the schools that we went in, okay, for instance, in my school, no general's child was done that. No major general's child was touched. You are your father's daughter and your name. So let me tell you a funny joke. So our VP admin at the time was Lieutenant Obasa was his name. And when he walks around the school, everybody's in trouble. So when we see him, we dodge, we hide, we do this. And one day I jumped a window to corner a building and then I walked into his hands. So if you want to escape trouble, when they ask you, what's your name? Something Akashat. You will call your father's title in the army to show respect. So if his title is a lieutenant, you call the higher level. And students do it a lot to get away from trouble. So when he asked me, I did not know where it came from. I said, civilian Akashat. The man looked at me. As a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. He said, what did you say? I said, Civilian Akashat, he laughed and said, just be going. And since that day, if you ask me my father's name, I will say Civilian Akashat. Because I think that put off the teachers from beating us. But we found ways to cope. So I will not come and tell you that it didn't happen to Kemi. What I'm going to say to Kemi is that you don't choose which trauma to highlight. Wait now. Because we have Kemi's letter of appeal in 2010 when she was going to Parliament. I go read that. When she was running for Parliament in 2010, UK general elections for the Dulwich and West Norwood, she wrote a letter to the Nigerian community. She said, this race is very tight. In fact, she wrote, hi everyone. As you know, I am running for Parliament in the 2010 UK general elections for Dulwich and West Norwood, and the race is very tight. And last year, a survey was carried out in the constituency by the New of the Worlds, and the forecast was that I would win. This year, things are a lot tougher as the party has dropped nationally in the polls. I need your help. Reaching out to our
Nigerian community.
Yes. There are just about 20 days to go before the polling day, and Nigerians have been fantastic. My immediate circle of friends, ex-schoolmates, and their friends, are they come, they rush. Are they come?
It's not possible.
And their friends and all our families have really rallied around and have been supportive. Unfortunately, those that don't know me have been very unpleasant. In a recent BBC interview, a caller insulted me because I am Yoruba. I was very disappointed that a Nigerian woman who claims to have lived in London for 45 years has issues with me being a Yoruba than with my political views, and shamefully made her comments on national radio. We really need to get out of this mindset where we are fighting for one another. I want to quickly come to where she promised. So she highlighted what she would do. She said, my promise to you is, if I am elected a legislator, I will use whatever influence I have to speak out against those who are cheating and robbing Nigeria and who seek refuge for themselves or their money in the UK. I will speak out against the UK backing any individual who are fully support and help to publicize genuine grassroots initiatives such as Light Up Nigeria, where the next generation of Nigerians are trying to change things for better.
Now she light up. She not be she. Should I put money
she even said that
manifesto they present when they want to get it.
At that time, she was Kemi Adegoke.
Okay, she was not a
so before she inherited her in-laws, she was Kemi Adegoke.
It doesn't sound
exactly.
It doesn't sound like Kemi.
So she went to Sagamu. She was traumatized. She was Nigerian when she needed to get election.
So
let me take this call from a person called Ability. Thanks for calling. You're live. Ability, are you there? I think we lost that call. Yes.
Okay, so Abigail, I want to answer you. I want to agree with you. At the same time, I want to disagree a little bit. But the fact that, okay, those things happened a lot those days. But now, there is a tremendous change, like in between. There's a lot that's happened. It still happens, but, you know, like every society...
People still exist.
There are also in some societies, you find out that there are some schools that still do those old day stuff. Okay, like for example, now we have our alumni, and we have been doing very well with the school. We have gone back to the school. Yeah. We are doing so much for the school and everything. But all these things that we went through, they no longer exist. Yeah. Now they pet the kids. They make sure that these kids.
And was in a different way, maybe not exactly as you explained, but she's saying that there are still some behaviors of these are schools that is wrong. So it depends on where you are, what you learn.
Let me give you a most recent example. This is not even a secondary school. This is a tertiary institution. Imo State University, when someone highlighted people holding umbrellas while it was raining and they were having lectures. Now, that is a tertiary institution. Now, come back to the secondary. What do you think happened? You saw that when that came, the attack was on the person who published it, not on the management of the school who should be doing what they should be doing. And if you ask them how much do they pay for tuition and every other development fee, you will hear the outrageous money they accept from students. And then they don't even have the conducive environment. And that's one. Now, those times when we were in school, you would just sit in class and then you see supervisors come to your class and then they're inspecting and making sure everything is okay. I don't know if that's still there now. I don't think it's still there now. So people are very angry at what is happening in Nigeria, especially those in the diaspora. And most of them have not been able to change because despite the fact that they keep talking about the rot, the corruption, nothing is being done. And at the end of the day, the image of Nigeria has been smeared beyond, I think it's gone way further than we can actually even imagine. So these people, I feel, what they are doing is poking the big wigs in Nigeria, poking the leadership, so that when we disgrace you, maybe you will remember to go back.
It's yourself you are disgracing, it's not
Exactly.
the leader.
Yes.
What
does she have to lose?
What
does she have to lose?
I agree with you up to a point. Well, but I really do not agree that continually poking or continually, what's the word, denigrating Nigeria publicly is helping, because
I don't support her for that.
It even affects Nigerians who live in the diaspora.
I don't support her for that.
I like what you said about the umbrella in the classroom, because that person, the person who experienced it, tomorrow will become a Kemi Badenoch and will be sharing an experience and they'll be bashing out. Where we actually
Can I give Abigail
that experience?
Because Abigail said this happened at a higher institution. Higher institutions, you were supposed to be adults. I was in parliament in my university, all the way from year 2 till final year. I was speaker in my school parliament.
It's not about
we were
parliament
not playing. We were changing things. I remember then we're wearing long skirts. Some of this advocacy we do aluta. Let me tell you something. So I don't believe a state university. I'm coming Morayo, I'm coming
but
to
this one.
Let me finish.
Not,
you don't have to understand. It's me that went to the school. We did our advocacy. We changed the things that we did not want. And we saw our school better for it. I'm coming there. Recently, this year or late last year, students of the university, Lagos State University, I think the Department of Faculty of Agriculture, they sent me very implicating documents of a lecturer who enslaved them in the fields when they are planting, made them walk into the night in darkness using torchlight to plant. And he was like, the state took a stand. Not long after with all the advocacy and everything.
It happened.
That's why I said there are bad people everywhere. My point is, even in that London,
they might not even be bad.
I'm waiting to respond to you.
Hold on, Morayo.
I want Nima to finish so I can respond.
Hold on, Morayo. We know that this thing called homosexuality, I don't know whether it's a language I can use on TV. A lot of students back then in the UK were abused sexually into those things. They transferred it to our schools here. It happened here. Some of this, there's no place you don't find a bad person, and people's experiences are bad per time. My point is that even when there's a crazy person, according to make I use local language, if you say they're mad, the state or the machinery of government will be madder than you.
Okay.
In Lagos State, that teacher was sacked. He was punished. The group of them in that school, go and Google it. There was a stand against it.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back,
responsive.
When we come back, we'll take this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View